The MixWave Quad 8 MM-310 plugin received a lot of hype, and in this video we'll check if that is justified. I will take an unbiased look at the plugin, and yes, there's a lot of good and also bad. Spoiler, in a shorts video I already complained about the default level boost this plugin does, and we'll take a deeper dive in uncovering that as well. The MM-310 does EQ into saturation and distortion, but I'm not sure this is caused by the input transformer or that there is something else clipping and limiting inside this plugin. Anyway, this requires a little bit of a different mindset. With the low end, the amount of saturation and even distortion will increase when you boost the low band. For the higher frequencies, you can get more of a polished sound. The saturation can shave off transients and add a bit of extra sparkle. Check on this acoustic guitar. The difference in the spiky attacks of the guitar is clearly audible. This example is quite pushed. Normally I would go more for something like this. When you use this drive cleverly in combination with the EQ, you can really sculpt or polish a sound. Take this already rather processed vocal.
Maybe it's all in my head, but baby, feel like we're a mess. Maybe it's all in my head, but baby, feel like we're a mess.
The settings I have used with MM-310 really polishes it, brings out the airiness and levels dynamics a bit.
Call me crazy, call me obsessed, but I don't think it's all in my head. Call me crazy, call me obsessed, but I don't think it's all in my head. Call me crazy, call me obsessed, but I don't think it's all in my head.
Here below is the rendered version of the plugin, and you can see how the dynamics are better controlled. I wouldn't even hesitate to use the M310 on the master boss. Even with the limited controls, it can nicely improve the sound. There isn't much to say about the actual EQ curves. The curves are quite wide and have a pretty much linear behavior. The high band can also be switched to shelf, and the upper two low band frequencies have a narrower width. This helps in cutting mud and honk. The EQ curves are functional, the width makes them musical, and in combination with the saturation, this is a good sounding EQ. The MM-310 has two preamp settings. I checked if this wasn't just a simple 9 decibel level boost, and it appears it's not. The two settings are similar, but different enough. I couldn't get the two settings to exactly line up in both harmonic behavior and default EQ curve when you push a bit. You can hear that as well when you try to match both up in level. The line setting sounds more dynamic. The mic setting is warmer and more controlled. Both mic and line setting do become a lot closer in sound the lesser you push the drive. You can almost phase cancel them, but not completely. Ideally, I would have liked to see the mic and line have a similar output level so you can focus on sound alone. And maybe this can be done because there's a pretty stable 9 decibel level difference between them. When you like this breakdown so far, please make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you stay up to date on the latest new plugins. Let's talk a little bit about the interface. At first sight it is very clear. There's enough texture and detail to not make the plugin look boring. On further inspection I do have some small issues. It's hard to distinguish between the frequencies and level characters. They use the same font, which makes it harder to read out. The other one is that by dragging the bottom right corner you can resize, but this gave me graphical glitches when I got too small. This is on Windows 11 by the way. Switching to a fixed size helps sometimes, but not always. And I also questioned the usefulness of this mute switch. I can only think of it being of use when you want the tail of an effect after this plugin to ring out and you want to mute the audio before it. Otherwise I really preferred a phase switch. One of the big issues I have with the plugin is that the plugin boosts 0.9 decibels at default with input levels below 0 decibels. This has the issue that it can, for instance, cause clipping on the master bus when you're around that 0 decibel level, like here with this track. But more importantly, it can fool you into believing that this plugin makes your audio sound better purely because of the level increase. Because you know, louder is better. I personally hate this when this happens in a plugin, and with the MM-310 this type of fakery is not needed at all. It sounds good enough without it. Now I created a shorts video complaining about this phenomenon and viewers agreed overwhelmingly much. There were also some comments that implied that the level increase is caused by the harmonic content, and that is a valid point. So let's test it to show that that isn't the case here. I'll use 1000 Hz as frequency. This is a common test tone and use a 0 decibel input. This has a first harmonic around -63 of a decibel. Lowering the input with 12 decibel will result in the first harmonic to be at -94 decibel. Changing the input to -18 decibel will give a first harmonic at -106 decibels. This is not linear and this was repeatable for other frequencies as well. Let's repeat this, but now we look at the actual level where I compensate 0.9 decibel at the output of the plugin. If the plugin has a fixed level boost, you will see that the input and output always have the same value. -2.5 input will give -2.5 at the output. Same happens with -7.5, -10.3 and so on. You will get the point. This demonstrates that the level boost is a fixed one and not harmonics dependent. All in all, the MM-310 is a good sounding plugin. Has some graphical issues that need to be fixed and of course that unneeded level boost. Try it out for yourselves and find out if it fits in your audio toolshed.